Hey there. I can't do that as good as the umbrella guy. I'm going live and I'm kind of getting off to a really late start. Uh, I was up really late last night with Yellow Flash. Uh, had a pretty good time there. And yeah, I'm kind of liking the Saturday morning thing only because I am not very good at sleeping in anyway. Hi, Mark. Welcome. In fact, I kind of relate to your boy Zach. In his videos, he'll say he's a sleep activist or something like that. He doesn't sleep very much. Hey Aaron, welcome. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Yeah, the I don't know, Saturday mornings are hard to sleep in. So the nice thing is that it doesn't seem like anybody else in Comicsgate is going on Saturday mornings. So I thought maybe that can be my slot. We'll see. Uh Sometimes, there's stuff to do Saturday mornings. Today there is at least around here, but I've got about an hour that'll work. So, man, there's a lot to talk about. I want to talk about culture war stuff and probably just invite some random people and we'll see who comes and who doesn't come. Let me share my screen though first. Let's see. Is Downcast done yet? I'm ready. Oh, yeah. I wish. No, we still have so much work to do on it. Uh, yeah. Good morning, Olia. I hope I said that right. Good morning. Yeah, we've got right now we're working on sequential pages and we're kind of putting our heads together on some just the visual storytelling stuff. The script's done, but yeah, we got to make it so that it visually works. And yeah, the artist is really good at that. So we've been putting our heads together. Riot Kitty, hello, welcome. All right, culture war. That's the topic, I think, and YouTube in general. I think I'm gonna. You guys want to see under the hood of my YouTube channel? I'm not gonna see the chat here for a minute, but I do want to share this. Share my screen. I'll come check up on you in a minute. Okay, so this is when you have a YouTube channel. If you're unfamiliar, you get your dashboard area in the back, and you get to look under the hood, basically. So I was learning that YouTube's not going to like certain videos, and actually talked to Yellow Flash about this a little bit. He went through his channel. If you don't know, it took him from when he submitted his form to be monetized. It took like over a year for him to get monetized, like just to get the approval. So yeah, I've been waiting. It's been over a month, and they tell you it's a month. So word on the street is, if it takes longer than a month, that means that there's something they don't like about your channel. So Yellow Flash went through and deleted some videos, and it seemed like that's what got him through. So I was looking through my videos, and I want to show you this. Okay, so it's a learning experience always, but I'm going to show you here on the views. Somewhere around here, you'll notice all my videos were starting to get at least 1,000 views, at least 1,000 views. And I would aim for that in the first 24 hours. And then every once in a while, like this one right here, 800, I thought, that one didn't resonate, but not horrible. 1,000 views, 1,000. See, this one is a stinker. I should get rid of this one, because not only is it content that they might not like, but it actually hurts the algorithm. If you have a poor video, then your whole channel will become less visible. I didn't know this. I read an article about it, and it changed everything. So I did a little experiment. You'll see when I posted, yeah, see, these were all good. Boom. This is the problem. I did this video on the Punisher and that, culture war aspect, and I don't know what it was. There was something about either the title or maybe the description. I just posted a link to my ebook there. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I got very few views. And then after that, none of my videos were getting picked up into the algorithm. And so these aren't the low view counts here aren't just because they're more recent, because most of the views you're getting in the first 24 hours. So yeah, something seemed wrong. So then I pulled out all the stops. I made the most clickbaity video I possibly could. I put Ethan's name, and I mean, I like talking about, you know, what's going on with Comicsgate, things like that. I will say, if you ever make a video with Ethan Van Sciver in the title, it will get picked up by the algorithm. So I did that, but I also deleted, or I made this Punisher video unlisted, and now here, hopefully, I'm back. So I could tell by the stats that it got picked up by the algorithm again. So I'm hoping that I can get back to normal. And now I know if I post a video that just does very, very poorly, it's better just to delete the video, which is why a lot of people just delete videos when they're live streaming. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see. I'm looking back at the chat here. Hey, that umbrella guy. Yeah, much more relaxed. Talking crap. It was on. Okay, you guys have been having a good time. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to see everything. Yeah, I went on with Yellow Flash. Oh, he says we delete live streams because they're also easiest to flag. I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Question, Umbrella Guy. If someone flags your video, does YouTube take a moment to like process that first, or do you hear about it as soon as they flag it? The reason I ask is because, again, with the whole algorithm change for me, like there was something. It was last Thursday, I think I posted that Punisher video, and yeah, my videos were not getting suggested, and I was looking in the things. Yeah, I'm bored. Send me a link. Yes, Tug, I'm going to send you a link right now. That'll be awesome. Here, I'm going to pull you up. This will be fun. The guy. There we go. Boom. There's the link. Yeah, this YouTube stuff is really fascinating. Hey, Gateway. I made you a wrench. I hope that's okay. Yeah, I just figured out how to do that. I've been trying to figure out how to do live streams a little bit better because hey, okay, how's it going?
Hey, give me 1 second. I got you. I had you playing on one thing. I was trying not to give feedback. Hey there, how's it going, man?
Hey, good. Yeah, trying to figure out all this YouTube stuff.
Yeah, the algorithm's interesting. You also, I mean, you always have to ask, with a specific video too, how many people cover that specific item, because it'll also hit you, not because people are tired of hearing about it, but because YouTube will deprioritize the same idea over and over again. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, there are so many things. If you can get away with tagging SJW or NPC, but you have to be careful about it. If you tag it all the time, you'll get deprioritized as well, and you won't get picked up. So
I was wondering if maybe me tagging Comicsgate might have done that, because I have been doing that a lot. I don't know.
I'm not sure about. I don't tag it a lot. I would say that might be something that would hit you in a review, though. That might actually be a problem, because any of the gates, I don't know how, when it's being reviewed. I don't know if that's become one of their naughty words yet.
Okay. Yeah, this is all really interesting. But I will say, like, as soon as I unlisted a few videos, I'm actually going to find a few other older ones and unlist them and see if that helps.
Yeah. If you check, like for myself, like on my channel, I will go in. Now, it really depends too. I like to switch around, and I'll have topics that don't hit. They do poorly just because. But if you put up something that is politically motivated, I was talking about like the Joker having politics in that new movie. Bam, they do not want that at all. So anything with political content, I mean, you can see it. I expect close to 3,000 views on every video before it times out. It depends. My channel, every now and then, like I'll mess with video games, they'll perform lower. But man, if it doesn't hit 3K, then there's something wrong. And certain videos, I can just tell they get hammered.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's you definitely have a bigger channel than I do. But I was like, man, 1,000 per video, that's my goal, and it was working. Like I, being pretty consistent, and then poof, the bottom fell out. So hoping to get back on the horse.
Well, and these days too, you were talking about Van Sciver. The videos, there's so many of them out there that they get lost in the shuffle. I mean, part of that is it's hard to test with. Used to, you could just throw it out there and bam, you could tell right away if there was an issue. But these days, not as easily.
Yeah, and they've been promoting older videos. I don't know, is anybody like, especially on my phone on the app, if you scroll down, it's like videos from 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I saw one 11 years ago that they're promoting now. I don't know if that, I'm sure all of this affects things, but it's definitely a moving target.
You definitely want to go in. I scrub videos periodically. I take them out. Now I try to make copies of them just in case I ever want to use something again. But that's one reason I don't like comic reviews. People say all the time, "Hey, I want positive reviews." Okay, well, the hits don't say that. I may get a 600 to 1,000 hits off of a positive review. If I went in and made fun of it, I could get 3 times that. So, I don't know. I don't like covering comics anyway, to be honest. I do it for Patreon and stuff, but not for this. But you were talking about live streams. Yes, live streams. Okay, if you get a live stream flagged, then you can send in an appeal. But you may, if you're really big, you could possibly get a human to go over it. But more than likely, you're going to get a bot review, and it's flipping a coin. I got nailed for. If you get nailed for something too, it's 3 months down, no live streaming.
Wow.
I'm still on break. Actually, I may be on break for 4.5 months because people do not like you talking about them. Apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny.
And this is so topic, and this got brought up here. I want to approach this gracefully, but it seems like with YouTube, it's a really powerful tool for like the culture war fight. With Comicsgate, it's really powerful, especially because the other side isn't using YouTube. But it's also it can be hard because and I'm sure every time you go live or you make a video, the chances of you saying something that's just a little wrong or might offend somebody, it's so high. And so, yeah, so the question here, has Comic Book Cut turned heel? I don't know. I don't know specifics, but Tug, did you see his last video late last night?
Yeah, I did. I was talking about that on. Oh wait. He's very. Are you talking about the apology or a brand new one? I haven't seen it.
So okay, so there were 3 videos that I saw, and I'm going to preface this by saying, I mean, I like the Comic Book Hut. I've never had any bad experiences with him. He did one video where he was critical of, I guess, some of the books getting out on time, like Cyber Frog.
And I think that's fair. Just to put that out as a consumer, I think that's fair criticism.
Right? Yeah, I totally agree. And I actually, because he made that first video, I actually sent him a direct message and said, "Hey Tug, hey Hut, I'm proud of you. I like it. I'm happy that you were being honest. And you felt like you could complain about this, because I think that's good. It's healthy." So I sent him that DM, and I also included, because he said something about Tim Lim. I don't know Tim Lim. I know Cecil. I mean, I don't know Cecil really well, but yeah. Anyway, so I said, "Oh, that's a good. I'm glad you brought that up." Then the next video came out, and I know you saw that one, and this was the prayer for Cecil, and that's where things, I thought, went a little bit too far. And then he had another video late last night that was doubling down. So I don't know if you saw that one. I can't remember what it's called.
I haven't watched it yet. that is his channel MO though. He tries
Yeah.
to build off of controversy, and it's interior controversy. It's not pointed outward, and that's his prerogative. He can do that. He said he said quite a bit about a lot of people, and the thing if he truly tries to push forward the way he's going, the problem is it won't blow back on Comic Hut. It will blow back on Tim Lim and anyone that works with him, and that's
Yeah.
I get along with Tim Lim fine. I think that he made some not good decisions. I think that he felt the decisions were best for him for whatever reason. In that, again, if he wants to talk about that publicly, he can. But
Right.
When he went around it, I thought it was a bad move there. But some other stuff that came up outside of Cecil, that stuff, it's being human. We get pissed off sometimes. We let people get under our skin, and that's not making excuses for it. But as far as Tim goes, I mean, I've always had good time with Tim. He's actually always been fun, but I haven't talked to him in a while lately. Not because of
Right.
any of that. It's just he hasn't been on YouTube or anything after all that. But yeah, I've see that's what I saw Comic Hut making the comments like other YouTubers need to call this out, and I'm like, if you want to be responsible, then you've got to weigh the ability to damage and what you're talking about doing there. It's not going to hurt a Cecil. Cecil. Yeah, good luck trying to actually do anything to his detriment. It's not going to happen. And
Yeah.
I don't think he's in the wrong either, personally. I would be pissed off if things played the way that they did. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then that's I don't know, like I found like this is no surprise to anybody, but I'm newer to Comicsgate. I came in it was the end of September when I heard about Mark Waid and all that nonsense, and I was dove in with both feet. But it seems I keep running into these like past situations that are making things difficult, so to
Yeah.
speak. And so I don't know, like I just want I don't do comic book reviews. I'm not super interested in doing like covering drama within
Mhm.
Comicsgate, but I do want to like have the right to associate with people if I want to, you
Yes.
know?
That's one of the most annoying things. Like, there's been some stuff going on with like weaponized nerd rage. I don't know if you watch some stuff, and basically,
Yeah.
weaponized nerd rage is being told that association. We should be able to associate with who we want or not associate with people. That's the way it should play both ways. See, I've
Yeah.
gotten bullshit for not. Does it bother you if I use profanity on
Oh,
here?
you
I
can
try to
say
have
whatever
it
you
under my. Okay, all
as
right.
long as I don't have to, I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I just I try to respect people's boundaries there. Well,
You're good.
with all of the stuff that came up, with again, I'm not trying to throw any pros names or anything like that, but I
Sure.
decided to not associate with someone, and it was the worst thing ever, to some people, and you should be able to do that. Comicsgate is a hashtag. It's not, it's about individuals having problems and having, I guess, having a unified, at least, voice saying there are many of us, but a lot of us don't agree on things. And we have our own we have our own cliques. We have our own setup. I mean, that's a reflection of larger society. But I've seen a lot of people being told that they, do or don't have to associate, and it's weird. I've been seeing that weaponized nerd rage lately. It's he associates with people that folks don't like. I like weaponized nerd rage. Again, I make no qualm about the people I like. Weaponized nerd rage is a good dude, and I tell people they're in the wrong. People don't agree with me all the time. Luckily, I do not get a lot of flack when I talk about just like if you look at that, I get along with Tim Lim. I like Tim Lim. Oh my God, some people think it's a monster, and
Right.
other folks that have had problems, but I don't get problems from it. Nobody gives me a hard time about it, but some people do. Some people get, you know, bullshit
Yeah.
unfairly. You should be able to talk about and whatever. It's just drama. Drama is interesting for live streams. Like if I want to sit
Yeah.
down and talk to you about, hey, look at what these guys did. But videos, nah, boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure live stream. It's almost like it's an event. I guess
Mhm.
people are expecting something. I actually went back and watched a whole bunch of older live streams that were, I guess, like touchstones in the Comicsgate evolution. And so that was really informative because I learned a lot of things I did not know. So yeah, that was nice. But yeah, like someone like a Tim Lim, I haven't known him, but I hear everybody say, "Oh, he's a good guy. He just made this one bad decision." I'm like, well, I want to interview Tim Lim. I love doing these interviews. Uh, I'm curious to chat though. If I interview Tim Lim, is everyone going to unsubscribe? Like this is the thing that
No,
bothers me.
they're going to no, they're not going to unsubscribe. But what you're going to do is you're going to get a lot of comments in there that are going to be anti-Tim. You know, you're going to get a lot
Yeah,
of that, and Tim. There's actually been more stuff back when, you had the transcript issue, you had this, then you had the glove thing. I mean, like I said, I don't want to touch on all of that stuff, but
sure.
there are a lot of people that look at that and they either want to make fun of it or they want to say, they want to get something off their chest. And I think that's cathartic sometimes, So you're going to get a lot of people talking shit in the comments, but also you're going to get a lot of people that pop up. A lot of people are going to pop up to just speak their mind and to listen to what happens.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that's
better. I would say. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I
oh
would
no,
just say
go ahead.
this on it. If you get someone that is controversial to a point, make sure that you're very familiar about what went on. Again, a non-biased
Right.
approach, because
Yeah,
people will give you their version. They'll give you a maybe a sanitized version, and you don't want to look like a hypocrite in that.
sure. Yeah, and there's always several sides to a story. And that's yeah,
Mhm.
like you're mentioning some of the previous stuff. I don't even know. I'd have to do more research for sure. But
Yeah.
even like I went on this is what the new everyone's favorite thing to tease me about now. I went on to War Campaign. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Um, yeah, and the thing was, I was worried a little bit about my own personal branding, and I tried to be, because I want to put out a book.
Right.
um, but I knew I knew I was going on to War Campaign.
Mhm.
None of those guys have ever done anything uh mean to me personally or anything
Mhm.
like that. I don't have any problem, obviously. Uh, but I apparently offended some people because they put a picture of Nurkish on, and I know even less about Nurkish. I don't even know. I've never talked to him. I don't know his thing. I know nothing.
Mhm.
But somebody was calling for a boycott of my book because I was encouraging uh, saying bad things about
Mm.
Nurkish. I'm like, what?
They'll you'll get that, man. That's the stupidest thing that you will get. People, it's that guilt by association thing. Oh my God, you were on this show. You talked to
Yeah,
those people and they said this. Well, it's I didn't interact a lot with Nurkish. I got along with him fine. I actually didn't have any bad interactions. The whole mess that came up with that. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that there are lines out there. It is.
yeah,
It's a very. It's sad we can't all just do something that propels us certain forward, propels this idea forward. But then again, Nurkish was never big into comics. Period. He mentioned that quite a few times,
uh,
so I never expected him to stay around, I guess.
yeah. Well, yeah, and there's the thing is there's so much to like I mean, it's hard enough keeping up right now to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm going to make videos about, hey, here's news in Comicsgate. But to then keep up with everything that's already happened in the past, I don't know, year or 2 years. Uh, People have been really helpful though, bringing me up to speed.
What's your hey, when you look at your point to your channel, are you just covering Comicsgate? Are you trying to propel, like when you talk about industry, for example, are you
Uh,
trying to look at industry? Are you trying to make things like get it to a certain point? I mean, that's really what you
yeah,
have to ask. Like
right.
if you want to document internal drama, then there's not a problem with that. It's just you have to ask how far down that rabbit hole you want to go.
Yeah, I internal drama is not something I'm really interested in, honestly. I am interested in politics.
Mhm.
Like that's been what actually when I started this channel before before I was doing Comicsgate stuff, I was kind of playing around. I would just make political videos.
Mhm.
But comics interest me. I would love nothing better than to just write or make how to write comics videos. No one wants to watch those. um, so yeah, like I'm trying to, I guess, cover news or give commentary on culture surrounding comics. I
Mhm.
guess I think I still am trying to settle into my niche, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Finding your place, it's, if you have your own unique branding, people will respond to that. Otherwise, you don't wanna be no offense to people that max out at 1,000, but you can see where some channels fail because they don't know themselves or they try to be other channels, and
Yeah. Yep.
just be yourself, like, have fun. Make sure that, your subscribers, they know you and trust you. I mean, that's the
Right.
biggest thing there. I think you've done a good job with that too.
Oh, thanks. I've got to
Mhm,
say too, when I first started, you were the first first channel to even give me a shout out.
mhm.
So thank you for that.
Sure.
You probably remember, but I sent you that email. I was trying to milk anything. Can't remember if it was Renthemus or somebody was giving me. Mark Zaid, I think he was giving me a hard time on Twitter. And so yeah, you gave me a shout out. So that was really nice of you. So thank you.
Yeah. Hey, man, I know how it's hard to get going. I mean, when you have, comics gets a weird thing anyway. Like, I cover other stuff, and the reason I say like I cover culture, I'm interested in it anyway. But if you're talking just in a channel perspective, comics are very niche. Unless if you want to pull some gargantuan numbers, you're going to have to basically shill for the industry, and you see what those people do. I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at, say, an EBS, say he's not pure comics. If you look at DNC, look at exactly what he had to go through before he ever got to the point he's at.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I'm like, I do think like what EVS is doing with the Star Wars videos, he's pulling in people outside and bringing them into comics.
Mhm.
And I think like I want to do that because that would help. It'd help everybody to have more people, more normies in, because they're going to be hopefully being converted to comic readers.
Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah,
that's why I was always good with the idea of, there's always argument about like political satirization, if we should have political books with Comicsgate, like the Trump Space Force. And I said, yeah, because it opens up new markets.
yeah. Yeah, I personally don't. I see a difference between a political book that you know is political and when you're reading and enjoying Spider-Man and all of a sudden he becomes political.
Mhm.
To me, those are
Yeah.
two very different things.
That's exactly a point I try to make a lot, that if you're going to honor a character with legacy, yeah, you honor the character with legacy.
All right. Yeah, if you're I don't know, I use this example a lot, but V for Vendetta is a
Mhm.
very political book and that's what you're expecting to get and that's what you get. So yeah, I mean politics and books are fine. I don't know. It's cramming your politics in a sneaky way into my reading. You know what I mean? That's the thing that bothers me so much. Um, yeah, I've been letting this chat go by. I really need to get. I tried to get Streamlabs worked out, but every time I do it, it crashes my computer. So I don't know if that's a personal problem. Let's see. Oh, Comic Girl Ava's here. Hey, you notice you've got a wrench, Ava? I figured, I don't know. I know you. I trust you. I'll give you a wrench. Sith Laud says Metal Gear series is the most political video game around, but doesn't pick a side. That's a great
That's
point too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you need. You actually, I don't need people pointing a finger at me. And I think it's very telling in comics when I can say, hey, discriminating against conservative readership or conservative creators is wrong, and people automatically assume, oh, you're a conservative. That says something. That says something about it when
Yeah.
that message is branded a specific way. Even saying, "Hey, why don't you open up to all readerships and don't go in and pollute the the actual storytelling?" Yeah, it's very telling when you get that kind of backlash.
Yeah, there's yeah, for sure. I actually enjoy if you're making a book or any story really that's going over both sides
Mhm.
of an issue or yeah, any issue. Like I was thinking, so I just watched last night with my wife. I think it's called IO, if I remember correctly. It's like brand new on Netflix. It was kind of boring. There's my video review. But it was like post-apocalyptic world where everything is so uh, polluted, I guess, that people were dying. And
Mhm.
so I thought, oh, this is going to be some environmental video, but it didn't turn out that way. It was actually like it wasn't pro like, oh, we need to save the planet necessarily. It was just like, hey, this could be a fun concept to play with. So it actually didn't have a political stance, even though I thought it would, and it could certainly have.
What's bad is, showrunners and on, like when they give interviews, especially with shows like a continuing show. Take Star Trek, the newest iteration, STD out there. Okay, if you look at STD, they admitted that before season 2 came out, they were talking about it's going to be about a giant emotionless entity that comes in and tries to destroy the earth. And they said the themes are heavily political. Oh, well, they're talking about Donald Trump. Okay, well,
Yeah.
even if it's done well, I can't shake that kind of conversation now because I will always see that as politically loaded because they admitted to having that as a politically loaded idea. So I think social media has become an interesting. It could be the perfect vessel for advertisement. We could have a Comic-Con all day. We could have the greatest thing within, say comics, entertainment. They could actually maximize advertisement, but they don't. They want their products to become more and more niche. You see it in the way they advertise too. Everything from adding Snickers to Gillette and on. I mean, it's become this. Are you woke enough? Are you woke enough to love our show? Are you good enough for this? And yeah, that's backwards. That is totally backwards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to like raise up their audience. This is the whole Gillette thing too.
Mhm.
Like you have to be they're trying to teach you how to be a better person. It doesn't make any sense to me. They're just and I think it's obvious that they're trying to do something with sales. They're trying to disrupt things and hope that they come out on top.
Well,
Uh
their
yeah.
their second quarter, it's due. It's due in on the 23rd. So I think they were trying to see if it worked. They were saying, hey, it'll work. And if it didn't work, then they were still high enough on their stock to actually shrug off anything that hit them. If it hit them kind of hard, I mean, they would still perform to a certain level and be okay. I think that was part of the. It's just my opinion. I mean, I know
Yeah.
that they're. I always look like if you see stuff like that, one of the things that I think is a detriment for me as a channel is I want to know why something happens. So I'm not going to be the very first person normally to go out there and throw out a damn video,
Yeah.
And that's the Gillette thing was interesting because you've seen it happen so many times. You've seen this type of, according to CNN, it's woke marketing, and you've seen it fail. I mean, it doesn't succeed. That's the kicker. It's very divisive. Now it will get you clicks, and a lot of people think clicks equals success, but that's not
Right.
always the case.
Yeah, they're certainly doing it on purpose because I think
Mhm.
like Nike, well, and then the funny thing too is Nike with the same audience that they're pandering to is the same audience that would or should be upset that they make their shoes in sweatshops. You know what I mean? Some of these other political issues.
They should
It
also be upset because a corporation went out and said, "You know what? I can brand your activism. I can make this part of our slogan and sell on the back of it." So that is the ultimate insult if you are trying to change something. I mean, when your idea becomes so mainstream that Gillette picks it up, yeah, that's garbage. That is to
right.
me. I see it as an insult anyway.
It becomes I mean, it's not activism if everybody in any kind of position of authority agrees with
Mhm.
it and espouses that point of view. It seems, yeah, it's really strange.
Really.
We're part of the counterculture, even if you're just it's not like far right or even just mildly conservative or centrist. Even liberals too are counterculture to this like extreme leftist.
Mhm. Well, and there are extremes. I feel like when we look at comics, it's really interesting because, we see ourselves oftentimes fighting the progressive, the extreme left, but we're also a lot of times finding the extreme right. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
it's very interesting to look at. I never processed all of that as much until some of the stuff that came up with, Vox Day and all of that, and I really thought about the reaction to that. I thought, what do do I want to sit down and do I want to ally myself with people that believe in actual ethno states? Not saying a Vox Day does or doesn't, just saying people out there, they will ally themselves to you because you're fighting the same people. And no, I don't
right.
want that. Most people don't. I would say 90% of the population doesn't want to deal with that shit.
Well, so this is a criticism that, like at first I would reject, and the more I thought about it, honestly, I do think it's true. But because yeah, there's this culture war going on, there is certainly the extreme right that sees it as an opportunity to like jump in and yeah, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend,
Mhm.
and that's a hard to be vigilant of, but yeah, I made a video once. This was couple months ago, and I said, yeah, I'm not into racial nationalism of any kind, identity politics of any kind, and I was surprised to see that there were people in my comment section that were totally for racial nationalism, and like you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I don't know. It's just strange to me because we found ourselves fighting the same people. But yeah, you gotta I don't know draw a line.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have personal lines, personal boundaries within this stuff. I think you don't want to lose yourself in doing that, and you don't want to prove the other folks right in there while fighting them. That's a I
Yeah,
think that really I think I saw a reflection of that with the stuff with Dave Sim. A lot of people courted right on the line of hypocrisy, if not hypocrisy, because they were excusing a guy that had relations with a 13-year-old while complaining about people that identified as quote unquote maps online that were having relations with 13-year-olds.
yeah,
So it's a form of hypocrisy. You got to be very careful. If you have a standard, you hold everyone to that standard.
right. Yeah, and this is even when Eric Esquivel was the big topic.
Mm,
I didn't make the first video. This is one of those scenarios where I'm like, if I'm wrong here, then there are going to be consequences.
mm.
So yeah, I didn't. I said that these are allegations. This is all that has been alleged. And then of course, he put out those tweets. I think probably in his mind trying to cover things up, but it sounded more like an admission, I think, to his enemies than anything.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then with Dave Sim, it's like I just heard about it. I don't know if we were on the same stream. I was on Ethan's stream, and that's the first time I heard about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. I
I have,
actually hit up Ethan to ask him about the actually, that's how we ended up with that clip, because these people have been sharing it around, and I was asking Ethan, I was like, what exactly is up with this? The problem
yeah,
when it came up at first, again, two sentences, you don't know real context or anything. I'm not willing to burn your life down and call you, essentially,
yeah,
no matter the semantics and the diagnosis, people are going to call you a pedo for that. And
oh
that is
yeah,
a harsh brand. That is not going to be easily shaken. So yeah. And now he's been doubling down a lot. Some of the stuff that's been coming up with that, like he had
yeah,
an interview with that guy who runs his Matt Dow, I think his name is. He had an interview where he was saying, well, that girl, she's now 49, so none of this, it's not a problem. I was like, yeah, you kind of missed the point there, don't you, buddy?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this and it just again, this is just like Eric Esquivel. The more he says, the more I'm like, well, okay, are they allegations if you yourself are telling us about it?
Yes.
It so again, like it's not a topic I like to talk about because it grosses me out. I mean, you've got young kids, right? Or you've got a daughter, I know,
That's
and a kid on the
exactly
way.
why. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got a daughter, and then my wife is pregnant. So,
yeah,
it's why it's important because I
yeah,
feel we could go to okay. There have been people. There have been people with such horror stories. Like say that Gerard Jones is probably the worst one I've heard of. And that guy was buried dead center in comics. He was also the guy who Americanized Dragon Ball Z. So he was right there. And while
uh,
he was doing it, he was abusing children as young as 1. So yeah, I mean,
jeez,
just the horror. If you go back and you read about that stuff, I'll also say if you do videos about that, and you use words like map or anything else, you talk about, say, a Kevin Spacey that's come up. Yeah, that's pretty much going to get hit. It's going to be
yeah,
demonetized, so it may actually hit you in how the algorithm looks at you too.
yeah. It's tough because you want this to be covered. I
Mm,
I mean, yeah. Before I had kids, it didn't. I saw it differently. Now that I have kids, it's I don't know. I like personally, it is offensive to me personally. And I'll watch those. You ever watch the To Catch a Stranger videos? They've got them on YouTube everywhere.
mhm.
Uh, I like watching those just because I love seeing like, oh, there's another guy that's caught. There's another guy that's caught.
Right.
Uh, but but at the same time, it makes me sick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it. I can I remember the first articles that came out with this push toward acceptance. I remember that Todd Nickerson mess, looking at it and thinking, if a guy like that ever got around my kid, I know a lot of people they like to flex and they like to talk bravado, but I have to say, like, knowing these people out there that I do not have any space in my heart for forgiving that. I believe that those people are entitled to treatment. I believe that those folks, I'm glad that some of them do not go out. Instead, they seek treatment. That's good. But for everyone that does, it seems like you're talking about these videos and stuff. It's good that that stuff's out there. You have to expose it. And I feel like entertainment has gotten away with it a lot. The more I look at entertainment, the more I look at comic books, the more I feel like being a decent human being is probably more and more niche than you would ever actually realize. For every Peter
Yeah.
Samedi I see out there, there's 6 people I can't stand.
Yeah, I've noticed a question in the chat, but I want to talk about Peter too. He said, let's see, Frog Smasher. Clint, did you ever find out more about the secret group that EVS mentioned? You know what? I honestly don't think there's anything else I could find right now. Um, yeah, I think it's interesting. Of course, people get together and talk in chat rooms, private chat rooms,
Mhm.
or private Facebook groups or whatever. I find it interesting. The I don't know, the investigator inside me finds it interesting, but I wouldn't even know where else to look. I've asked several people and got just
Which
basically what I knew already.
which group? What are you looking for
This
exactly?
is the deadliners that EVS mentioned.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There are always people out there that have access. Like I get shown DMs and stuff. Oh my god! By the way, just to say, Yellow Flash will be putting together sooner or later a video on Scott Schneider. Oh my god, you should see it. So Scott
Oh,
Schneider has just been going around randomly messaging people and talking crap. And he messaged
yeah,
a certain Comicsgater. You see like, these people when they get together in groups and they talk about stuff. Yeah, if they police the group enough, then they
yeah.
can keep people out. But
I have actually heard of that. I don't want to give any names, but I have definitely heard of Scott Snyder participating in that.
Yeah,
um,
I'm tired. I'm tired of people making excuses for pros. We've got this weird thing where we have this weird hero worship in comic books, especially in anything. But people who've grown up around comic books, I've been guilty of that. I would say in my life too. The makers of superheroes, they're superheroes themselves. No, they're not. They're definitely
yeah,
not.
no.
You know,
Well, and
and
Scott Snyder's a good writer. Like
yeah.
he was, I mean, arguably my favorite writer, but it's
Mhm.
hard to. I mean, he it
I,
just it,
I
yeah,
won't support anyone that insults me. I mean, that's just
yeah,
I will not, it's I do not believe in the separation of art and artist. It's just an idea that baffles me. Like if I said that in my profession, oh well, you got to separate. Again, I like to always return to the plumbing and the plumber. Well, he fixed a good crack, but he called me a Nazi and spit in my face. No, it wouldn't work.
yeah,
But in comics or in entertainment, because someone can draw well. I mean, come on, really?
yeah, yeah. It baffles me, and that's I'm not. I've done good too. I'm not buying any Marvel books. I'm not buying any DC books either. Uh,
I picked up the problem I get into, I guess, is my LCS. Like we have a new one that just opened, and it's close enough. It's compared to I used to have to drive about 2 hours to go to one, and we've got one closer. But they have made the mistake of trusting, in Marvel and what to buy, thinking it would sell, and it hurt them. So I bought Conan. I bought the new release, even though that was Marvel, and I'll probably buy a couple of other books, maybe 99 point whatever percent I won't touch. But
yeah,
yeah, I bought a couple because I hate to see my LCS die. I want to be able to get my Brubaker title. I want to be able to put my hands on Criminal and buy the damn thing. So if I
yeah.
got to give up $15 a week, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's the tough part. That's the really the victim in all this. They're paying the local comic shops are paying for publishers. I mean, not just the political stuff, but just really shady business practices. The whole variant cover thing. I didn't realize they had to order in order to qualify to get variant covers. They have to order so many copies, and then they're just saddled with them. Yeah, it doesn't sit well with me. And that's like sort of segueing back into Peter Simeti. Man, this week people have been so nasty to him.
Mhm.
It it bothers me, I know it makes a lot of like my subscribers. A lot of people get so angry when people are nasty to Peter,
Mhm.
because he's one of the people that's just a good guy, you know.
Yeah, he's actually, I've talked to, I didn't talk to him a lot before. In at the end of 2017, I actually wrote a bunch of other comic companies. Plus, I wrote Samedi, and I was asking about doing charity work. I wanted to do that. Um, of course, no other no other comic company answered, but Samedi, he hit me up. I talked to him about it real quick, and he sent me a box of comic books. I was like, heck yeah! So, he encouraged charity with that. And after I looked into all the charities that he was supporting, I mean, he was supporting dozens of charities out there, giving people, comics and making sure that they could go out and do good work. But after all of this stuff, now these people have come at Peter Simeti before. Actually, Tam Bonvillain came at him months before all of this newest stuff, and you've had other people step up. But then that De Guzman came after Peter Simeti, and De Guzman is one of those people. If you don't walk lockstep, they will try to burn you down. And
Yeah.
they went after him at first. Um, they went after him, and they had already, you can tell when they're talking about certain things, they'd already undermined him in the background. They'd already undermined him and gotten together with some other artists. And unfortunately, Peter suffers from this idea that where he trusts people, and you can't trust those jackasses out there. And he learned that a hard way. He had these people attack him because he quite literally thanked consumers, and he quite literally has social media policy that says you can block individually but not indiscriminately. And
Yeah.
he had Jeremy Massey and that crew. They turned on. They were calling him a fascist and so on. That guy stuck with those people for 10 years. helping them out, and they turned on him and tried to burn him down. That Cody or whatever Sosa, the guy who writes Croak and Sonitis or Sonitas, whatever the fuck, he was going to signings. Peter was going with him, trying to boost up his career. And that guy, he took the first thing because they think it's a ticket to step up. Unfortunately, people like Mark Lombardi, they're not going to help your career. They're gonna show you failure, and that's that's pretty much what a lot of these people are noticing right now.
Yeah. Well, and so this week, and I heard yeah, so someone asked in chat, what did Peter say? So what Peter said was, so you got Joe Quesada that is giving pats on the back to Renfamous, and I mean, it's no one is under the illusion that Renfamous is just there on Twitter, just like a regular person. She's spending her time just trying to take down Comicsgate, really. And so that's the reason why she's getting pats on the head from Joe Quesada. So it's crazy to me because in any other industry, if you had somebody in that high of a position that is just encouraging dedicated online trolls because it fits their needs politically, I mean, this is crazy, and it's become too normal, I think, in comics. It's not okay. So Peter said something in a very mild way on Twitter. I don't want to misquote, but basically he said, "Hey, I hope you're also shouting out comic book shops, because comic book shops are the ones going out of business. You know, Renfamous will be fine, I'm sure." Yeah. So this is
actually, I'm of the opinion that, this is paid opposition. There's a lot of it. You actually saw, if you go back and you look at Disney utilizing its media connections to go out and attack. They've done it to DC. In fact, I always thought that all of the controversy about Eddie Berganza being a sexual harasser, and that stuff was really, it was propagated in the media. Not saying he's not, but it was propagated in the media by coverage that was coming out of Disney-owned commodities. They do this kind of stuff. And if you look at the way that comic media will put out 13 freaking articles at one time, all of this stuff, it's opposition that people definitely they need, because otherwise, if you want to look at how fragile this industry is, a guy like myself, I've got 12,000 subs. I can hurt the comic industry. That's insane.
Isn't that? Yeah.
I shouldn't be able to. I may be able to cost them consumers, but those consumers that I cost them should not be able. Diversity in comics should not be able to hurt this comic book industry, but you can, because it's in such a sad state of disarray.
Yeah. It's crazy how much, really, and this is like one of the points of the video, is that like YouTube can be such a powerful tool, and we honestly, Comicsgate is wielding the power of it, but there are definitely consequences, obviously, that come along with YouTube. But yeah, the fact that regular consumers can decide, get exercised enough to go start a YouTube channel and start criticizing comics, and it really makes an effect on the industry. That's wild.
Yeah, I like that, actually. I like the fact, well, I felt I was very silent about, for the longest time. Yeah, they treated anyone that had problems with Marvel products, and they othered you, and they allowed that. They allow people to attack you in groups that support Marvel. They put out, they do it on their own Facebook sites and on. They attack. They've allowed this current year dialogue to go in. Oh, you don't like Eternity Girl? Well, that's because you're a transphobe. It's like, what? What does that even mean? You people are insane. But they've allowed this, and they in fact reward this. If you look at Aubrey Sitterson, I think he's a great example. IDW, they admitted to this. That's the most amazing part. So Aubrey Sitterson would go out and gaslight G.I. Joe consumers. He would go out and insult them repeatedly. And then he made the mistake of going out and making some 9/11 comments that basically said, if you weren't there, then you're pretty much a poser. All of your grief and all of that, you're just a poser. Oh. And he kept doubling down. And IDW, when their editor-in-chief Chris Rael left, he gave us the skinny on how they reacted. He said that they not only didn't do anything about him, but they rewarded him with another, the Scarlet Strike Force. They rewarded him, and of course, it fell apart because nobody wanted to buy his crap. But it was just
Yeah.
amazing. And then he doubled down, calling people that had a problem with that or a problem with anything idiots. And he is attacking, he's directly attacking the GI Joe consumer base there. That's the kind of
Yeah.
mindset that these people propagate. It's it's just amazing to me.
You know, so I think back to about when Eric Stevenson was the publisher of Image Comics, right? Uh,
Mhm.
I used to, I mean, I was really into into Image Comics back then, and he was so critical of Marvel and DC, and he would publicly say it all the time. Criticisms about business practice, obviously nothing political, because I think he's in agreement with sort of most of the politics or a lot of them. But he had all these criticisms he was very public about, and you didn't see any pushback. But I will say that they stopped. They just
Mhm.
quietly stopped. And I have to believe that there were certainly private conversations that were happening. Who knows? But they don't have that kind of control when now you've got consumers with platforms, people reviewing books, someone like you that's looking at their sales numbers, and not allowing them to push their narrative. Yeah, it certainly affects them, and that they have no way to deal with it other than the dirty tactics of trolls and yeah, paid protesters essentially for the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing thing that you don't expect. I expect the pros that are out there that act like jackasses. I expect them to continue to act like jackasses because someone might, I don't know, try to hold them accountable. They might actually try to hold them accountable for their own actions. I mean, if you talk about the issues in comic books, yes, there's some issues out there that cause problems, that are company related, but there's just as many that are related to pros, whether that be bad behavior, whether that be talent level, and on. And in the past, we could actually have those conversations. Now, now if you talk about it, you're walking over a current year line. And
Yeah,
I think companies, I understand why they allow the idea there, because these idiots out there, these current year folks, they have created the perfect defense to any type of valid criticism. In current year, you want to get an article written about you. Well, go out and talk about how Visaggio is not a good storyteller, because you're going to get an article written about you about how you're, again, a transphobe. It doesn't matter what your point is there. And like I say, companies, they love and embrace that, because they can go in and they can say, well, that writer we hired for 30 grand, or this inexperienced person that we picked up, well, we picked him up because of whatever. They put in a qualifier there. These folks clap themselves right out of jobs. you know and you see Marvel doing it. They actually, they have positions that pay under 30 grand. I mean, that's amazing to me. You think about a
yeah,
New York commodity paying 30 grand to people, and it's because they can get away with it. Like I say, these people, they applaud themselves right out of jobs.
yeah. Gonzo the Great says, at Sweetcast, great job on your videos. You will grow this channel quickly with this kind of quality. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to get better. It takes
Yeah,
practice,
your
that's for
videos are
sure.
good. I enjoy them.
Thanks.
I'm lazy. Like I do my research, but I'm very lazy about putting stuff together. I don't.
Yeah,
I like my approach. There's too much. I feel like I would give so much detail if I don't cut it off at a certain point. I'm like
yeah.
I'm autistic that way.
Hey, it's I feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants because you have to do you don't have to, but I've been committing to do one video a day, and
Mhm.
it's I mean, you got to always be thinking and working out the next thing, not to mention I'm also trying to get my book going at the same time. So,
Right.
I don't know, I'm starting to get into a groove that I feel a little bit more comfortable with. Uh, but yeah, I don't know, we'll only get better. Um Yeah, everybody just saying hi. I'm sorry, I've been not paying that much attention to chat because I don't know, just been enjoying the conversation. So if you do have a question, just at Sweetcast because I don't have super chat yet.
Yeah, that's why you need to get your that's why you need to get that OBS working for you.
Yeah, I this morning I was trying it. That's why I was so late. I was gonna get up about half an hour sooner, but I couldn't get it figured out correctly.
Did you
So
use OBS Studio or are you using Streamlabs OBS?
Streamlabs OBS is that?
Right, yeah.
So and then
Yeah, if it's
you're
erroring out, there's so you keep getting error. You've tried re-downloading and all that mess.
I have not tried re-downloading. Yeah, I'll have to try
Yeah,
that.
probably try just deleting everything out and trying reinitializing. My biggest problem is I live out in the middle of nowhere, so my video quality is definitely going to be lower when I stream that way. But at least it allows some kind of interaction. I actually like
Yeah.
Streamlabs OBS too, and it allows people to back a lot of what I do these days. I've gotten on some kind of demonetization setup where, half of my freaking videos right now they're doing better. I would say 1 out of every 2 videos gets hit, but it's
Whoa.
still. It's basically like every other day I'm doing something for free, and
Yeah.
I'm not willing to back off of like the sexual stuff or anything like that comes up, and that stuff is automatically targeted. So I appreciate people have actually been very supportive of what I do.
Yeah.
I think they'll be very supportive of what you do too.
Yeah. And thanks Gateway into Comics for posting my ebook link. That's really the best way. Right now I don't trust YouTube for a lot of these reasons. And so like yeah, if you want to join my mailing list, and this is not to spam you, but just so I can inform you about Downcast when it comes out, you get to download my novel for free. So thanks, Gateway. I'm curious, Tug. I don't have a lot more time, but did you see that article that Bleeding Cool put out about lower price comics are killing comic book
Yes,
stores?
I need to put a video together on that because I I thought the absurdity of it. I thought you're telling me like Peter Samedi that comes in is going to be the killer of comics, not the fact that you sell a comic for $10 and that comic book shop has $4 to $5 on their wholesale price that they're holding for each one.
Yeah, it's crazy because the comic book shops aren't getting they're not getting the profits from the high priced comics. It's the publishers or whatever is in their system that makes them need to charge that much. Yeah, people don't want to pay that much for single issues. But yeah, this was part of the coordinated thing. And it's like I always feel like I'm putting on my tinfoil hat when something like this comes up. But I really think there's something to it. But Peter was getting attacked on Twitter viciously, and Bleeding Cool puts out that article at the same time about how his business model essentially is killing local comic shops.
Yeah, and it's amazing that comic shops put out their own comments about this stuff, saying that what's killing them is the fact that there's no returnability. And yeah, look at the costs here. Look at the cost, and it's quite amazing to hear comic shops come out and make the other point there. Make the exact opposite, and yet you're still told no, ignore those shops, ignore them.
Yeah. Well, I think I've got to go. My wife's got to get some things going.
I think I'm going to do a live stream since if people want to pop over, I think I'm going to be on the Umbrella Guy. So, I'm glad you had me on, man. I've been wanting to kick it for a minute, so I think that's cool.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. I'm glad you popped up in the chat. I like doing live streams. I have a hard time coordinating with other people because I don't want to be like, I don't want to restrict myself to this is exactly when I'm starting.
Yeah,
I'd rather just kind of get it going. Yeah. So
I just get bored and I want to go on people's live streams, and people are really nice about it. If I pop up and I'm like, hey, let me on, most people will. So
that's yeah, no, that's great. I'm always happy to have you. So
if you see me like wandering around in the morning, if I'm posting or something and you're going on, just hit me up.
Yeah, sounds great. Cool. Thank you. And hey, thanks for everyone for stopping in. I hope this is one other thing I called the Saturday morning Comicsgate. I don't know if I've have the right to say it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to compete with anybody, but I don't know.
Nobody owns that. It was actually kind of, see there, that's a big contentious point, but it's been in use much longer than anyone else, you know, than anyone else has actually been adding it to something. So if you want to call it that, boom, call it that. Have fun with it.
Cool. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'll try this again next Saturday morning, and I'll probably have a little bit more time to, and hopefully start a little earlier. So yeah, I think I don't know. I think it's been fun. So thanks, Tug, and thanks everyone. We'll cut this off. See ya.